I've got one. I recently, and I'm again won't name clients, but I recently spoke to a health insurance provider, and they said what we're going to do is we're building a chatbot. It's natural. You can type in whatever you want, and we're going to deploy it for international students, and it's only English. And the first thing they showed it to me, right? And the first thing it says is, it goes, "Hey, how are you?" And you start this conversation. But then the first thing it has to do is go, "You can ask me these questions," and then it prints out this massive long list of things that you can do. And then I'm like, okay, so the first thing I would have done is just change those to buttons, because that's so much easier. And it's not going to work. They're going to deploy it very soon, and I can tell you now it's going to fail epically. And that, it's a really good example of where a company spent $500,000 getting this up and going.
And still hasn't learnt, but anyway,
and
that's a different story.
They'll roll it out and they'll go, "Why is no one using this? Why is no one using this service?" It's terrible. Terrible.
Where it hasn't worked, apart from companies being dumb, which happens a lot.
We have a specific question for that.
Yeah, that's right. It's really complex things. So an example would be, would you want to do a full home loan application through a bot, right? Probably not. You'd probably do the initial lead gen side of things, because a home loan, I want confidence that they're understanding my needs properly and things like that. So there's some things that I think will be too serious, too intricate, or too intimate to put through a bot. But on the flip side, sometimes the bot's an enabler. So an example of one that we've done is a colonoscopy preparation chatbot, right? You'd be like, what the? So, but the reason for that is the research says that something like 30% of people do the preparation incorrectly because they don't want to talk to a human, right? If I asked you, any of you, like, "Hey, can I look at your Google search results?" You'd be like, "Piss off," right? I ask that Google random shit all the time, right? And the reason for that is because you don't expect anybody at Google to actually look at those search results, right? If you literally knew that every single search result you punch into Google was looked at by a human, you'd be like, "I'm going to change what I type in now," right? But then the same thing goes to the bot. So the fact that, someone's looking at what they're typing in from a question and answer point of view, they don't want to talk to a human. So sometimes it can actually be an enabler. So it's not so much just always thinking about, it can be a complex problem and no one wants to talk to a bot because it's a medical problem. Just think about what the problem is you're trying to solve and what are the barriers that they have. So sort of dig behind it and don't just look at the technology as being a solution, and just understand it. But there are plenty of use cases where it just gets too hard. And most of the time we recommend to clients to always have a live chat option at the back end. So if you're going to put the bot on there, make sure there's always someone that they can talk to if this bot is just flailing away and not helping them, and making sure you've got that catch-all.
Mel, what are your thoughts on that?
Common mistakes people make?
Well, no, I'll definitely want to come to the common mistakes where a bot could help and people make mistakes, and there are certain things that they do. But maybe areas that you've seen that it works really well, and areas that you've seen that it's not a very smart move to have a bot there.
Yeah, I think chatbots aren't going to work for every single company. As much as, like you were saying, it's the new tech and it seems exciting and everyone wants one, you do have to still take into consideration whether it's going to work for you. And I think, kind of similar to what you were saying, I think you should really think about whether the goal that you want your chatbot to achieve is actually, you can automate it. If you can't automate it easily, then there's really no point in going down the path. So whether that's your sales funnel, whether that's FAQs, answering questions, whatever it is. And yeah, I think that's probably one of the main things that a lot of people, they assume that they can get a chatbot, it's going to be a great solution for their business, but if your business is too complicated and requires a human, then it's going to probably end up in a weird situation.